Hello, I'm Jason Rice, founder and attorney at Dirigo Divorce, a full-service family law firm located in southern Maine. Wanted to talk a little bit about a couple items related to spousal support, or otherwise known as alimony, in divorce cases in Maine. A couple things that the court will rely on is first and foremost what the law says, and that's found in the statutes, the Maine statutes related to spousal support. The court's going to look at several things. One, the length of the marriage. The longer the marriage, the greater the chance that spousal support may be awarded. Specifically, the court will look at, has the marriage gotten to maybe a 10-year point or a 20-year point? Those are kind of the two numbers the court looks at. If it's less than 10 years, then it's the argument for spousal support is weaker. It doesn't stop somebody from asking for spousal support from the other former spouse, but there isn't a presumption that the spousal support should be provided. You hit 10-year marriage, then there's a presumption that general support should be awarded. However, there's what's called a rebuttable presumption saying, okay, if it's over 10 years but less than 20, then it should not, any award for spousal support should not last more than half the length of the marriage. Um, and so those are kind of the two numbers to kind of look at as the length of the marriage. How long is it? 10, 20, less than 20? Those things have an impact on it. The other thing is, what is the income differential between the two parties? The greater the differential between the two parties, the higher, again, the likelihood that the court is going to order some form of spousal support. The court looks at, according to the statutes here in Section 951-A, a general support may be ordered to provide financial assistance to a spouse with substantially less income potential than the other spouse, so that both spouses can maintain a reasonable standard of living after the divorce. So the higher the income one person has versus what the other party has, the greater the likelihood the court's going to order some type of spousal support. Now, there is no formula in the state of Maine to calculate that. It's essentially a party making an argument as to the need for spousal support and what that amount would be or should be in making the case for it. And at the end of the day, if the court considers that and finds that spousal support should be ordered, then the court's going to come up with a number that the other party has the ability to pay based on financial information. And so it's important, if it gets to that point, if you're in a marriage, it's a long-term marriage, spousal support might be on the table because maybe there's a greater income differential. Make sure you have your financial information so that in the event that the case does go to a trial, you can talk about what the income was, the actual income, what it might be. But the court, in ordering a spousal support award or award for alimony, they have to consider various factors, and those are set forth down in Section 5 here of the statute. So again, the length of the marriage, the ability of each party to pay, the age of each party, the employment history and employment potential of each party. So if one party isn't, intentionally not working, but they have the ability to go out and become like a doctor or, a higher income job, that's something the court will also consider. The education and training of each party, provisions for retirement and health insurance benefits of each party, and just various other ones. So all the way down. So there's all the way, A through Q in factors. So those are all things to consider. Another question is, how long does it last? Again, it depends on what kind of award is ordered. There is a provision that Section 12 has been removed. So a common question that I receive is, hey, if somebody's remarrying, I'm paying spousal support, or they're living with somebody else who's providing a whole bunch of financial assistance to the other party, do I have to continue paying spousal support? They did remove a specific provision, cessation upon cohabitation. So essentially, spousal support could have been terminated or ended if the other party who's receiving it was actually living with somebody else who's contributing financially, or they've remarried or something like that. Spousal support is modifiable by either party down the road. So if financial circumstances, maybe for the person paying, if it gets drastically reduced or whatever it might be, they could go back to the court and ask for a modification of that spousal support. And the last thing to kind of think about as well is there are different types of spousal support. The statute lists under Section 2 types of support. So general support is kind of like what we see and think of in general terms of alimony, a monthly payment of some sort for a period of time. There's also transitional support, which the court can order to help the other person transition from being married to single, and starting that new life. And that could be for a specific period of time. There's reimbursement support. So the court, as noted in the statute, can order it to achieve an equitable result depending on the financial situation between the parties and circumstances. And there's kind of factors related to that. There's also nominal support. So that it's kind of a holding place so that the court can order spousal support in the future if necessary. And then there's interim support, which may be awarded during a temporary matter. So if you file for divorce, proceedings kind of dragging out, one of the parties might need spousal support in the interim or on a temporary basis. So this is kind of alimony or spousal support in a nutshell in the state of Maine. If you have any questions regarding your family law case, if it relates with spousal support, any questions relating to that, feel free to reach out to my office, Dirigo Divorce. You can visit that at www.dirigo-divorce.com or call 207-200-3231. We'd be happy to set up a consultation and talk with you about how we could help you answer any questions related to your case.